Hello, hello, everybody. So sorry I'm late. Hello, hello, hello. Everybody coming in. Hello, hello. So sorry, so sorry, so sorry I'm late. So sorry I'm late. So sorry, so sorry. No, no. Okay, okay, okay. I got caught up in the ladies' room. I totally am sorry. Hello, Martini Rini. Can somebody message Sherry Van that I'm here? I think she's in someplace else waiting for me. I don't know who all is here yet. Oh, Marty's here, and I don't know who all else is here. But um, oh, I feel bad. I think she's in a different area, thinking I'm going to be live, and over there, and I'm not. I'm live over here. Okay, we got some beautiful stitching today. We're going to stitch on rickrack, and we're going to do it two different ways. We're going to hold the rickrack down with two different stitches. You don't know Sherry Van? Okay. Oh boy. Where is she? Hold on a second here. Let me see where she is. Control 24. Five. Okay, let's see if that gets her over here. Okay, let's see. I'm sorry I'm late. I was trapped in the ladies' room. Hate that when that happens. Okay, so some relatively simple stitches, but they're going to incorporate some bugle beads and some seed beads, and they're just going to make something very simple look very elegant. So there's going to be a bit of a refresher on two different stitches, and then I'm going to show you how to add beads to those stitches to make them a little more, to make them a little more. Okay, sip. Oh, I hope she understands or gets the message. Okay. Well. Okay. Well, hello, Ganesh. How are you doing tonight, Marty? It's good to see you. I'll tell you, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to have either my prompt along or my tutorial tonight because the storm was just a raging, but then it slowed down a little bit. So I had the prompt along, and only one loud thunder during the prompt along, and no more hail, no more rain, and the 2 feet of water in the street has subsided to nothing. Hi, Beth. How are you tonight? Yeah, so the scary, scary storm that I was in that caused some flash flooding, the flooding is now completely receded. And there's no more storms, no more hail, no more storm, no more thunder, no more lightning, and no more flooding. Everything's gone. It all happened so fast. I'm glad I live on the 3rd floor. I bet you the basement got flooded out, though. At any rate, yeah, so we're going to work with Rick Rack. What I like to do is, on this particular set of quilt blocks, crazy quilt blocks, I want to make all of my seams white. I don't know why, I just felt I wanted to do that. And I was doing this and I said, you know, I'm going to get bored with doing just white stitching. I need to get a little creative. Yeah, she did. And she's coming again tomorrow? Wow. Oh, you're very welcome, Marty. You're very, very welcome. I'm glad. I know with some antibiotics, I have to eat them with food or I get the most horrific, horrific cramping. So, thank you, Beth. I saw the little, you went around with your camera and you showed parts of your room and how clean and how neat and pristine it was. It makes me wish that Dana lived near me. So anyway, as I was saying, I thought I was going to get bored pretty quick with just doing everything just white stitching. So I decided that I'm going to add some rickrack in some places. And I'm going to recap a couple of stitches and show you how to add beads to them so that you can cover your seams and make them pretty as well. And you can use maybe another tutorial. I'll do something with a little bit of ribbon and show you how to attach the ribbon, or maybe I'll use some yarn and show you how to couch on the yarn and add beads to that. So we've come a long way from the straight stitch and the stem stitch to working with ribbon and beads. We're getting almost close to the end of all 3 of my encyclopedias. Yeah, beads. So, okay, the first one I want to start with, oh, and I want to show you what I did. I used the leaf stitch to make the leaves with a ribbon. So the leaf stitch with a ribbon. I used a brown and a beige twirled together to make the stems and the branches of my tree. and that was just floss, 3 strands each. And then I used a pale rose and a deep rose and did French knots all over the place and filled in my tree, and there's some on the ground there. You can see some on the ground. So that's, we have a great community here. So that's what I did with that ribbon stitch tutorial. And then I did not do the woven, the web ribbon rose. I did the stem stitch ribbon rose and went around in circles. I started with beads in the center, and I did the stem stitch ribbon rose. Then I used some organza ribbon and did the leaf stitch again with a wider ribbon. I believe that was 1/4 inch. And I put in 2 bugle beads at the base to act as vining and stem support for the leaf. So that's what I've done in that square so far, using the ribbon and bead methods that I've been teaching. So there were no oh, Marty, that's sweet. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I don't know what I would have done 2 months ago without my community, me just having to take a break for 10 days and oh my gosh, I was so lost. And when I knew I could at least be in chat with you guys, it just helped me so much. You guys, all of you gals and guys were just tremendous support for me, and I just thank you. Thank you so much. That's all I can say is thank you, because I don't know what else to say. So that's what I've been doing. So today we'll start with this one here. I'll bring it up close so that, let me get my needles off here, and I'll bring it up close so you can see what it's doing. Now the rickrack is being held in place. Let it focus here. Come on, focus. There we go. The rickrack is being held in place with the French knots. All the French knots are on all the mountaintops of the rickrack, and I'll show you the rickrack itself. Let's see if it'll focus now. The rickrack itself, you see, it looks like it has a fingerprint on all its own, and there's a fingerprint ridge right up close. This is not couching. I will show couching. I will show a bit of couching next week. That's the next step. So I will do some couching next week. This is actually on the rickrack itself. So it's not couching. I mean, the bugle beads and the white beads are in the valleys, not on the rickrack itself, but it's not couching. Couching will be next week. So the rickrack is held in place itself with the French knots, and then we come back, and in the valleys we use the white bead, the bugle bead, the white bead, and at some point you're going to go down the white bead and come back up the white bead, but you're not going to use the same hole that you use to go down from the front to the back, and I'll explain that. Don't they look like cherries? That's what they're supposed to look like. That's what they're supposed to look like. They use the detached chain stitch and a little bit of a straight stitch, and you add the bead just before you attach the chain. So they're individual chain stitches. Thank you. Okay, so without any further ado, let's get started. And I need to see who's doing what behind where here because I can hear some stuff going on that I don't want to have going on. I figured it would be you. My ganache. My ganache. Hi. Hello, pretty girl. Hi, honey. She was into something over there. Okay, now let's get started. So you can see in the rickrack, there's like ridges, kind of like your fingerprint ridges, and that's where you want to attach your thread from the back to the rickrack is in that very first ridge, that very first fingerprint ridge. Ganache has always been a little stinker. Stormy girl, she's the quiet one, and she's the one I get worried about with her health. And every now and again she can be a stinker, but not most of the time. Stormy girl is really good. So we're going to come up from the back, and let's just refresh on the French knot. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then back down right next to, but not in the same hole, into the back, and create a French knot. So the French knot is what is going to hold the rickrack down. Yes. Next week I'll show you some couching that will hold the rickrack down. Actually, it won't hold rickrack down. It will hold, well, it might hold rickrack down. It might also hold yarn down or ribbon down. Okay, so I'm going to come back up on the next, whoops, can't see it, on the next hill. On the next hill, and we'll review the French knot one more time. Hi, Stacy. You snuck in, but I saw you. 1, 2, 3, and into close by, but not the same hole. Back to the back. Return to the back. And there's your French knot. Now, I had originally intended on using a dark pink rickrack, which showed up really nice like the white does, which is why I'm using this pale pastel green, because it showed up really nice on the pink rickrack, but I could not stitch through the pink rickrack. I don't know what was in that rickrack. I don't know what made it so stiff that I couldn't get a needle through it. I wish I still had it to show you. I don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. This rickrack right here, I cannot get a needle through. I try as I may. I'm pushing with all my might. I cannot get a needle through this rickrack. It is like super glued together. I cannot get a needle through that rickrack. So I was going to try to do pink. So I apologize that you can't see the French knots real well. They are a pastel green, not white. Next hill, next fingerprint ridge. Oops, where are we here? Next hill, next fingerprint ridge, come up from the back to the front and do a French knot. One, two, three. next to, very close to, but not in the same hole. Go back down. My hands have lotion on them, so it's hard for me to grasp my needle and pull it through. So I've been having to use some pretty heavy duty pliers here, if you'll forgive me. What did I do with them? What did I do with them? I need them. There they are, right there. I'm using these pliers because I can't find my small ones. There we go. See? It's just I have lotion on my fingers and I can't pull on the needle. It slides right through. Okay, so you can see how you do the French knots first, all the way across. However long your seam is, you do the French knots first. Whoops, wrong one. Let me pull this closer to me so that I can work closer to me as well. There we go. I gotta reposition is right. There we go. I just repositioned so that I can stay on the camera. So you can see all your French knots on all the mountain tops, all the mountain peaks, all the way across is going to hold your rickrack in place. I'll do a couple more, but I think you understand the concept of the French knot and the mountain. I'll just do a couple more if I can, hopefully. There we go. Hopefully my fingers won't slide. I keep sewing in ganache hairs into my French knots, so they all look like they have a little black whisker. So you got it. Okay. There we go. I did one more. All right. So then you take to the back, go through a thread, make a loop, go through the loop, pull tight. Go under the thread, make a loop. Whoops. Go through the loop, pull tight. Okay. So that, my friends, was the French knot review, holding on the mountains of the, whoops. Oh well, I'll do that one later anyway. Okay, now, holding on the mountains of the rickrack. Now to make the little embellishment. You're going to thread your beading needle Oh, that's terrible, Beth. You. Okay, you're going to thread your beading needle with just one thread. And I'm running low on my green beading thread, so I just used one piece of thread of floss, and it went right into the eye of the needle, of my beading needle. And I doubled it. So for strength, because bugle beads are very sharp. And if you don't double your thread, it's going to eventually cut through your thread. And I don't recommend using your floss thread. I recommend using a beading thread. So you're going to come up in a valley. I'll show you and then I'll demonstrate. I'll show you. You're going to come up in a valley. You're going to add on one seed bead, one bugle bead, and the other seed bead. And you're going to go down in the kitty corner valley, in the next valley. That way you'll be at the back. When you come back up, you're going to come back up through that seed bead, but just one thread next to it, but in the same hole as the seed bead, but one thread over on the fiber, on the fabric that you use, because you need to come back up through that seed bead, but you don't want it to be in the same hole or else you'll lose your stitch. So I'll show you. I'm going to start fresh here. I'm going to come up from the back in the valley. Okay, I'm going to add one seed bead, one small bugle bead, one seed bead. I'm going to come back down in the next valley. Can you see where my needle is? Down in the next valley. Pull the thread through and you'll have a cross piece. Come back over one thread from where you went under and through that same seed bead. Now it can be a little fiddly, but you can do it. The only reason I'm having a hard time is because I put my beads on my fabric and I can't pick it up. There we go. There, see? One thread over and it won't come through. You're going to, you already have your seed bead there, so now all you'll have to do from hence on, from there on, is add a bugle bead and a seed bead. And you'll go down in the next valley. Can you see where my needle is? Right there in the next valley. And you're going to make a wavy line. There you go. We're starting to get there. That's kind of opposite of the rickrack. So where the peak is on your beads is also going to be where the peak is where the French knot is, and it's going to be opposite of the way your rickrack goes. It's kind of cool how that works out. Okay, I went down here, so I'm going to come up here a couple of threads over. And I can't do it because I can't. Let me move my beads. I have to move my beads so I can pick up my fabric here. Here we go. Alrighty. And pick up my fabric. And come up. Well, 2 threads over. 2 threads over, sorry, and go back through your seed bead. Ta-da! And you'll repeat that. Seed bead, bugle bead, seed bead. Way over here, I'm picking up a bugle bead and a seed bead. I'm going to go back to the next valley, which is on the bottom side now, and just continue that. And now you can see how this is going opposite of the rickrack, and it kind of looks like it's intertwined. And that's one way to attach your rickrack and add a little design to it and make it look a little special. Now when you're done, where I've gone down here, you just flip over to the back, go through a piece of thread, make a loop, go through the loop, pull tight. That's it. No special anything to making a knot. When you've got beads on there, you do the same thing. Now, because these beads are bigger, and I have a bigger hole, and I'm going to be working with floss. Thank you, Marty. I'm going to be working with floss. You need to make sure that the eye of the needle will go through your bead, and mine does. And I'm going to use, in this case, I'm using 3 strands. I don't know if you can see that it's 3 strands when I bring it up close, as soon as it focuses. There's 1, 2, 3. There's 3 strands there. Let me put this one away because we don't need it anymore. And let me get my needle and my thread, which I've already pre-threaded. Now, on this one, it's the actual leaf of the cherry that holds the rickrack in place. So you have to make sure on both ends that you pick up. Remember that fingerprint ridge that I told you about? You got to make sure on both ends when you're starting and finishing your cherry that it needs to go in the fingerprint ridge at the mountain and in the valley. Now, that probably sounded as clear as mud, so let me explain it to you this way. Okay, let's see. You're going to start in the valley every time. So because I started in that valley and ended on this mountain, now I'm going to start in this valley and end on that mountain. I'm going to start in this valley and end on that mountain. I'm going to start in this valley and end on that mountain. You're always going to start in a valley. So from the back to the front, you're going to pick up that first ridge in the rickrack. If I can get there. It's too far away, I can't see. There we go. This is where you make your chain stitch. You make your loop. You go down in the same hole that you came out of and go to the back. Do not pull your loop all the way down. Leave part of your loop open. Now, to attach the bead and close your loop is open, you're in the back. You're going to come up at the mountain, maybe just to the side of the mountain because you've got two cherry stones to put on there. You're going to come up, add your bead, hold your loop in place, add your bead, and then go down the other side of your loop in your fabric. It doesn't have to be in the rickrack. It can be in your fabric. I've done that once or twice, Marty. Yes, that does have a tendency to happen. Of course, no different than felting. Oh, Beth, speaking of felting, let me show you. This is the little guy I'm felting right now. And this is his head so far and his little cheekies. He's got little cheeks and his face and his hat. Isn't it cute so far? And it's made with curly wool. It's not the hat and the body is made with curly wool, not regular wool, not the flat stuff. So he's going to be cute when I get him done. That's the next little Rammy that I'm making. Okay, squirrel averted, or squirrel done. Now, you want to make the second one, so you come back down at the valley. Just like that. Make your loop. Go back down at the valley at the same place you came up. And you're on the reverse side again. You're on the back side. Do not pull through. Aw, thank you, Beth. Do not pull through your loop. Do not pull it through. You need to go back up at the mountainside, through that first fingerprint of the rickrack. The second way to do this is now you can pull this tight if you want to and then add your bead instead of doing it the other way. So you pull it tight, make your loop, finish it off so that it doesn't fall through by going through the fabric, not the rickrack again, but the fabric. And voila, you have little cherries. Quick and easy, just like that. I will explain. Now I'm going into this valley. I'm working in the opposite valley. I finished on a mountaintop, so now it's time to start in the valley again. I come up from the back. Make a loop. Bring it back down to the back. Do not pull the loop through. Come up to the mountain, just a little off to the side, not quite at the tippy top. Pull tight. This is my preferred way to do it. Pull tight, add the bead, go down into the fabric. And there is one cherry. Now I'm going to go back into the valley, right next to the other one. Make a loop. Go back down in the same hole. Don't get your rickrack caught, because it's no fun to uncaught it. There we go. Come back up at the mountain. Pull your loop tight. Add your bead and go down into the fabric. And there's your little set of cherries. And that is a review. Basically very simple. This is a straight stitch with the bugle beads on it. This is a French knot, and this is a detached daisy chain stitch. It's a detached daisy stitch. So those are the some of the first three stitches that we learned. And now we're using them to create even more special stitches, prettier stitches, ornate stitches. And that yes, it would be very cute on a little girl's dress. A little rickrack around the collar with these little cherries. I think that would be totes adorbs. It would be very, very cute. It would be very adorable. So is there any part of anything you need me to go over again? Hand smocking. Wow. Beth, I don't know. Oh, there goes all my beads. Ah, so silly. I just picked all that up. That's all right. It was just a few. I don't know if you saw earlier, but this was the cherry blossom tree that I did. And I used the stem stitch for the tree. I used the leaf stitch, the ribbon leaf stitch for the leaves. And I used just French knots in 2 different colors of rose for the cherry blossoms. And then I made a stem stitch rose, but I added the beads to the center first. And then I did a stem stitch rose, ribbon rose. I did a leaf ribbon, and I added 2 bugle beads for the veining of the leaf. So that's how I incorporated the last couple of weeks' lessons into my quilting. Hand smocking that takes a lot. That takes a lot. Excuse me, of talent. That takes a lot of talent and patience. Thank you, Marty. And that's tonight's sampler, tonight's example. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. I think I'm going to do some felting now. Not felting, quilting. I'll do some of my quilting stitches now. I'll do these 2 stitches that we just learned on some rickrack on my own quilt blocks. Does anybody want to come live with me and do some crafting with me, or is everybody tired now and just going to head off to bed? You're going to take a shower. Okay. Daisy's already in bed, but not asleep. Sorting stuff and things. I missed the tutorial portion. Aw, Ma. Hi, Ma. Well, there's always the replay, sweetie. I didn't put which tutorial this was, but I do believe it's number 14. I'll have to edit that. I just put stitch tutorial. Oh, nope, it's stitch tutorial 13. So I'll have to fix that. But oh, that is going to be beautiful, Beth. I know you know what replay is. I know you know. There's Hi, Kelly. Welcome, welcome. Glad you're here. I'm going to start with this piece of rickrack. One of them anyway. And then this one will go here. Actually, a ribbon will go there. I'm just going to put the rickrack here. I wonder if I cut that. No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. I just cut it off the pieces on the show and tell. Tummy is still rumbly and back still aches. Not as bad as it was. Well, I'm glad it's not as bad as it was, and it might be just about your body adjusting to it. Some people can get by with eating just a couple of crackers or peanut butter crackers or something, and then there are the people like me that have to eat a full meal when I take my pills in order for that to not hurt. Okay, so I need, because I'm doing it on my quilt, I need white thread. Okay, so I guess I'll bring these down here. And get some white thread. Yeah, that's not uncommon, Marty. Okay. I need this is that. Okay. And all right, now I need to attach. The one I'm doing first, I'm going to do the French knot, and I'm going to do, where'd my sample go? I'm going to do this one first. The one with the French knots. Hi, Pam. Good to see you. Okay. I can do a little bit of explaining here while I'm doing it for real on my piece. Unless you just want to chat, Mom, which is fine, which is totally fine. But I need to talk to myself a little bit here. Okay, so there's that. 1, 2, 3, and then back down. Whoops, I lost my knot. Try it again. 1, 2, 3, and back down. Oh, ain't that the truth? Okay, so I got it there, and all of my seams are going to be done with white thread, white ribbon, white rickrack. They may be embellished with colored beads, but all of my seams are all going to be done with white thread, mainly white. They may have a little pop of color to them. Like this one's going to have green bugle beads. And then the other one is going to have the little red cherries with the green leaves on it. But for the most part, they're all going to be on a white surface, white background. I'm sorry, I moved back. Sorry. 1, 2, whoops. 1, 2, 3. I sat back in my chair and pulled this really close to me and didn't need to do that. You still can't see? I'm back in the center. At least I thought I was. Wait a minute. Is this better? Am I back in the middle now? Oh, well, how did the OB visit go? Everything okay? Hi, girls. Sitting over on the chair. Yay. Well, thank God for McDonald's sometimes, Pam, huh? Will there be a haul video? I want to know. 2 skeins of yarn and a piece of fabric. And how many books? I'm sure they didn't either. No books? Well, hello, Mary. How are you this evening? $1.99. That's not bad. That's not bad either. $2.99 for homespun. Ooh, I'll bet, Mary. I'll bet. Mary. Mary. No, sudden movements are off limits. Not allowed. The only time my arms don't move is when I'm asleep, and that doesn't happen too often. Or for very long periods of time. Thank you, Mary. It's going to be a pillow, and it's going to go in the living room. I have four blocks. Hold on. 4 blocks that I'm going to stitch together, and most of these were done with scraps from Miss Becky, Aunt Beck. Aunt Beck's Creations. She was very kind to send me Hold on a second. Let me raise this up so you can see all four. And it's going to be a pillow. I'm going to make all the seams white, whether it's white stitching like on this one, or a white rickrack, or a white ribbon, or a white piece of yarn that's couched on, or however, whatever I decide to do on that particular seam, all the seams are going to be white. And then on the inside squares, some of them are going to have some more detailed design work. Oh, thank you. Every Tuesday night I do a stitch tutorial. 9 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Eastern. We're getting up into the ribbons and beads now. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so I've got the French knots done on the rickrack. Now I'm going to do the bead work. And I need white beads. Whoa! I need a piece of fabric to put them on because they're all going every which way. I usually bead on my beading mat and they don't move. Can't just put them down on my desktop. They are rolling away. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Going up to the balcony. Yes, they are. Those are size 11 seed beads. Okay. What I need to do now is knot off my floss. Cut that. Put that bead away. That. Oh, I will get some more white thread. And thread my beading needle. Yes, seed beads, size 11. Okay. Pick up a seed bead, bugle bead, and a seed bead, and go down. And come back up. And because the seed bead is already there, I just need to pick up one bugle and one seed bead this time. And go back down in the valley. Come up one strand or two strands away from your seed bead and then go back up into the hole. And again, now I only need one bugle bead and one seed bead. Oops. Come back here, you. One bugle bead, one seed bead. Go back into the valley, the next valley, go into the next valley. Come back up a thread or two away from where you went in. Nope, that's the rickwick. There we go. And go back up into the bead. One bugle bead, one seed bead, into the next valley, which is now below. Come up one or two threads away. And back up into the bead. Bugle bead, one seed bead. Now the valley is on the top, so I want to go into that one. I don't need to see it. Okay, I will try to pay better attention. Okay. I will try to pay better attention. My mom watches me every hour of every day. She's in heaven. And go back up the bead. And we'll do a bugle bead and a seed bead and go back up into the valley. Up on this side. Oh, don't be sorry. It's okay. It's fine. It's a long time ago. It does hit me hard on anniversaries and birthdays, but it's okay. You don't have to be sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that though. Oh, your mom does too? Oh. And back into the valley, this time at the bottom. Two threads away. One thread away. Back up to the bead. Middle bead. Seed bead. Valley. It's been 3 years. Oh, it's really fresh for you. I'm so sorry, Beth. My mommy died in 2016. And there are still days that I cry like a baby because I miss her so much. It's still hard, Beth. It gets easier to have more days in a row that are good, and then, oh, was she your champion? And back up. And back up the bead. Whoops, I can't get there from here. I have to turn it around this way. There we go. Back up the bead. Yeah. Well, my mommy and I were estranged for like 25 years. And I kept praying for her heart to change. And then one day I decided that my pastor was right, that I needed to pray for my heart to change. And 30 seconds after I got home, after praying that prayer with my pastor, Mommy called me and wanted to go shopping, because she knew I had better taste in clothes than she did. So we went shopping, and we started to become close. And I started to change my heart towards my mother, and accepting her for who she was, and that she was never going to be the one to change, that I just needed to change my reaction to her. And then we found out she had cancer. Yeah, and then we found out she had cancer. So I only basically had my mother for 2 years. She was pretty mean and abusive verbally, while I was growing up. And then when I got out on my own, I was just like, so what? My mother, big deal. But it was that last 2 years that we had together were the best 2 years of life that I had with my mother. I gotta say, I was pretty angry at God for a little while, and it was like, how dare you give me back my mother and then take her away from me again? But then I was thankful. It's like he knew she had cancer and wasn't going to live long, so he gave her back to me. I don't know, that's just how I look at it. I think it was totally a God thing in my opinion. It just totally a God thing. So my mom was my champion and my hero for the last 2 years of her life. And that makes it even harder. Oh, she had a very full life. I did all my mummy's care too. I did all my mummy's care. Took her to all the doctors, stayed with her 24/7 while she was dying, the dying, not the fighting, but the acceptance and the dying. And yeah, it was hard. I was kind of floating on clouds when she passed away, and the date of her funeral. I just was kind of being strong for everybody, and then I crashed. I crashed and burned. And it's just been hard. And it's been since 2016 now, but like I said, it's still hard. There are still those days. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Ow! Ooh, I just poked myself in my cuticle because I was looking at chat and not my finger. That's awesome, Beth. That's kind of how I look at it. And there is my seam. Nope. There's my rickrack seam. Thank you. Thank you so much. What time is it? Oh, 10:30. Time for me to go, you all. Thank you for telling me about your mom. That was such an honor to hear about your mom, Beth. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that with me, with all of us. It was an honor and a privilege to hear that. Stacy, thank you for having been my secretary. And thank you for joining me, everyone, all of you, each and every single one of you mean a lot to me. I greatly appreciate having you in my live streams. I'm crying now. I'm sorry. You all mean so much to me. So I just want to say good night to everybody. Thanks for being here. Bye for now, meow. Oh.